I finished with John the second season of Interview with a Vampire. That is an AMC show, so it's on AMC Plus and also on Netflix. There were moments of it that felt like couples therapy, but it just happened to be two vampires because the interview is really the center point of how it's structured. Okay. So you're sitting with these two vampires. You're with Louis and Armand in Dubai. They have this fabulous apartment in Dubai in current times, and they're being interviewed by the same interviewer from the original Interview with a Vampire movie, but now he's grown up and very curmudgeon-y and like old and whatever. So that is Daniel, the interviewer, and he really is just poking at this relationship a lot. I mean, he wants the history of like what they were doing when as vampires. I mean, some of it is Louisiana, but most of this season is in France and what was going on with them when they moved to France. I think it was like the whole season, basically.
Yeah, we had left Louisiana behind for this season.
Right. Although there's a big backstory of the original interview. So you get like a younger version of this interviewer and what happened when he did the interview and sort of a revelation in that area.
But not like the movie where it's set in two places. It's just the interview in San Francisco.
Right. So you get like flashbacks and memory recall of that interview. But other than that, really, you're just in France hearing about the terrible things that were going on in France, which is where Louis and Armand met. And it's all around this theater, the Vampire Theater, and some really weird theater things that they're doing, which are like, really? People want to see this kind of theater? I mean, sure, okay.
Théâtre de Vampire?
Oh, like
however they say it. Yeah.
Wait, it was like a Cirque du Soleil, but for vampires.
It was wild. They show you some of the shows. They're kind of entertaining, and I mean, you obviously know more than the audience in the actual theater inside this television show. Not quite. It's doing a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's visually also very interesting what they were doing in terms of the theatrical staging, like what they were saying, oh, this theater company is making plays that look like this with like a rear screen projection and like integrated with this animation and live action actors in the forefront. But really the storylines are about vampires, and the audience, of course, does not know that these are actually vampires. And so there's some trickery of like, oh, he can fly, but you can see the wire, so don't worry about it. He's not actually flying. No, he's actually flying because he really is a vampire. Mm-hmm. The main actor in the group of the vampire theater is fantastic. That is the character of Santiago, who is real jerky. I mean, he's very powerful and really has thoughts about Louis and Armand, because Louis and Armand become a couple, but Louis doesn't join the theater troupe.
The Coven.
The Coven, which is also the theater troupe. It's the same thing, basically. But Claudia does. Claudia, as a side note, has been recast this season. And the young actress who plays her this season, fantastic. Really challenging material for her. She goes through a lot. Poor Claudia. And she was very interested in this theater company, really wants to be a part of it, and that works out okay for a little bit, and then a total fiasco in the end. But we're really hearing all of this through this interview process, and also hearing about Louis' former love, Lestat, who we think is dead, and he's still present, the character Lestat. We see him in like hallucinations and some flashbacks, and the interviewer really is poking at this relationship so much. It is hilarious. It really does feel like couples therapy sometimes, because he's like, I don't even want to try and imitate it, but it's really funny that he's just like trying to get under Armand's skin about Lestat and Louis and
their dysfunctional
like
relationship.
Yes, I mean all of it's super dysfunctional. And
well,
yeah.
I mean, if I could do the line about him being a journalist, which ends up being a reveal, I would do that, but I can't. But as a journalist, he's asking great questions because he recognizes that there's, some disconnects in what's happening, and they're set up and like, oh, okay, are you guys a perfect couple? Do you have a perfect history? No. How do I get to that?
Yeah. He's very smart, this character of the reporter, because, yes, he's seeing all of the little spots of vulnerability in terms of both their relationship currently and the flaws in their stories that don't really line up, and putting all that together. It's complicated and interesting. My husband and I started with John, and then my husband was like, I'm out. So
That's
he
kinda
did not.
how I was.
Yeah, he was not
started
that
it.
into it. And John and I kind of slowly moved through it because we had other stuff that we were more excited to watch.
And
then
this is based on the Anne Rice novel, the movie with Tom Cruise
Yes.
and Brad Pitt.
The immortal universe, obviously.
Yes, I tried because I loved all that.
I think the controversy is that these are Anne Rice's characters, but she very explicitly did not want them to be in relationships with each other. She did not like any of these gay relationship ideas, and people insinuating or assuming or writing fanfic about these characters being in relationships. She was like, no. She was really not into it. But she has passed away, and so whoever is able to do this now is like, no,
Well,
100%.
We think she's passed away. She might still be.
She might still be around. We don't know.
I have a question. There's not enough information from what you've told me about the backstory in Paris about the Vampire Theater.
Yeah, what about it?
Do they have matinees? I mean, that's a dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway.
You're actually, that's kind of a finale moment you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Heavy, thick velvet curtains.
Yeah.
to solve
Seriously.
anything.
The theater is really an interesting story element. And
Theater with an E-R or R-E.
I don't recall.
I think it's an R-E.
It is. Well, it's
Much
also
more
in,
serious.
in Paris, so yes, also.
Yes.
So I would say it was a bit slow, but really interesting. I didn't love everything about it, but I was still glad that we watched it.
Okay.
And it ends in, a rough spot, so we'll see where they're
Is it
going
rumored
next.
to come back or not?
I believe
No.
so.
Well, I mean, it's a vampire show. Of course it's coming back. Even if it dies, it'll come back from the dead.
Rise again!
It has been renewed for a third season.
So there you go.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so that is Interview with a Vampire Season 2. And that is available currently on Netflix, even though it was an AMC show, and initially it was not available on Netflix, but now both seasons are available on Netflix.
That was the same with the, it was not the Wayfair Witches, but it was the other one.
The Mayfair Witches and a Discovery of Witches.
Yeah, they did that thing where they gave us 3 episodes. And you're like, great, number 4, subscribe. And you're like,
Yes, because they wanted you to subscribe to AMC Plus, and I was like, no, I can't have another service. So I waited, and now it looks like Netflix just did a big purchase of AMC stuff.
Yeah.
So all of that is now new and currently available, all these older seasons.
Yeah, I don't know it's going to be available forever, though. I would, if you
Get
want to
on
watch
it.
it, I would do
Licensed.
it now.
Yeah,
okay.
get on it.
All right.
I mean, obviously, if you do have AMC Plus, it's probably there as well.
Great point, Catherine.
Well, I don't, so I don't know.